Hi ladies and gents, my name is Thom Gibson, and in this video we are going to talk about the 3 ways you can fight teacher burnout during distance learning. The first thing you can do to fight teacher burnout is stop working. I know you're thinking, I can't stop working, I've got so many things to do, there's not enough hours in the day, I've been working till 10, 11 o'clock at night each night, and I still have things to do. Stop working. The reason you're working so much is because you want your lessons to be great and perfect and organized, and you want things to be in different places so everyone knows exactly where to go, and it'd be great if you can add this one layer of engagement and make this little poll that students can actually access it and I can see what everyone's saying and then they're engaged and it's gonna be great. There's a lot to do to make a lesson good when doing distance learning. But I found a very insightful tweet a couple weeks ago by a teacher. It was the user Dory CP, and she said, "My therapist helped me come to the conclusion that rather than trying to make every lesson the absolute best, I make it the best I can in the time I have allotted." As a chronic overachiever, that distinction is huge. Because if you're trying to give your students your best, then that is going to take up all of your time. But if you're like, if I'm gonna give them my best in this amount of time, there's less guilt associated with it because you're recognizing and you're setting boundaries and you're sticking to those boundaries, and you still are giving your students your best in the allotted time that you've given to work. And I've noticed this in my own life. I've noticed that the days that I have all day to work on something, I end up accomplishing less than the days where I have like, okay, I only have like an hour at this point in the day and then like an hour later in the day to accomplish all the things that I want to accomplish. The fact that those time slots are so limited, it focuses me to get more done, and I'm taking less like, oh, let me check what's on Facebook now that I've gotten one problem done on this review assignment. Let me see what's on Instagram now that I've got the second problem. I don't have time for that. I don't have time to keep refreshing my email. I've got things that I want to get done. And this idea that we actually will fill up the amount of time that we give ourselves, like if we give ourselves 5 hours to do something, it's going to take 5 hours. If we give ourselves 2 hours to do the same thing, it's going to take 2 hours. That's called Parkinson's law. You'll fill the amount of allotted time that you give yourself. So if you give yourself till 11 o'clock, you're going to work until 11 o'clock. If you give yourself until 4:30, you're going to work until 4:30. There's a good chance you can accomplish the same amount in the compressed allotted time. So to strategically do this, I come up with my top 3 priorities that I want to accomplish in that given time. And I rank them by urgency and importance. So the most urgent and important stuff is the first stuff that I do. That email or that survey or that other thing that I want to get done but is not necessarily urgent for maybe my lessons tomorrow, that goes further down the list. So that way, if you don't end up accomplishing your list of to-dos in that allotted time, at least you've knocked out the most urgent and the most important stuff first. And so you're good to go for tomorrow in that regard. And another note on like wanting to give the students our best, wanting the lessons to be our best. So often when we do that and when we are working late into the night, we are saying we are okay giving our family our leftovers. We are okay saying, this is taking the priority. This is what's got to take up my time because my students deserve my best. When you do that, you're saying that your family does not deserve your best. They do not deserve your time. We're doing a disservice to our students when we are neglecting our family, when we are neglecting ourselves in an effort to give them our best. We're doing a disservice to our families when we're doing that as well. And the more that you continue to do that, the more likely it will lead to burnout. You have to give yourself permission to stop working and to say, I gave it my best in the allotted time, and now is the time to give my best to my family. And this applies to the weekend as well. I wouldn't actually work on Saturday. I would put it off until Sunday, because if you work on Saturday and you don't finish it, which is probably likely, then you're gonna also work on Sunday. So procrastinate on purpose, leave yourself a couple of hours on Sunday to work and get the beginning of the week stuff ready to go, and then stop working. Create work hours, stick with them, and then stop working. That is the first thing to do in your fight against teacher burnout during distance learning. The second thing to do kind of ties in with that is make time to call or text friends and family. The longer the periods of time that you go without connecting with your friends and family, the more probability that you are walking more into a burnout situation. Ideally, you'd be connecting in some capacity every day with friends or family members. But typically if someone's like, I haven't talked to anyone in 2 months and now I'm going to text or call someone every day, that's an unrealistic goal and expectation that's set of yourself, and it's harder to create new routines and new habits when you're going to 0 to 60 like that. So instead, make a goal to connect with 3 friends or family members that are maybe outside of your immediate household, with the caveat that you are making time with the people that are in your immediate household already. And new habits are hard to form because we don't think of them. We kind of just fall into the normal habits that we have, whether it could be continue working, or when I come downstairs and sit on the couch, the first thing I do is open my phone and check Instagram. So to break that, set a reminder for the time that you normally find yourself possibly scrolling through social media or watching Netflix. On your phone, you can literally say, "Hey Siri, remind me on Tuesday at 5:00 p.m. to call my parents." Or before you even do any work stuff, you send a text to a friend. My favorite app for actually connecting with friends and family is Marco Polo. Marco Polo, if you haven't heard of it, is a video messaging app. It's not like social media where you're following people, but instead you are sending short videos to people and then they can respond with short videos back to you. It's as if you're texting the video to one another, but you're not actually taking up any space on your phone, and they don't have to download the video or anything. They just play it on their phone when they open up the Marco Polo app. And so you can have these conversations asynchronously. Everyone loves that word now, asynchronously, particularly since the time that maybe you have a little bit of free time, the people that you're chatting with, your friends, your family may not have that free time, and they'll respond when they can. What's nice about Marco Polo is that you can create these groups. And so my immediate family of my mom, my dad, and my sister, we're all in one group. And so whenever someone sends a Marco Polo to the group, we all see it. And then if one of us responds, we can all see that response too. And so we can kind of keep that dialogue going. I'm seeing her little daughter grow up. She's seeing our new little daughter grow up, and our parents get to see their granddaughters growing up and fun little things like that. So Marco Polo kind of gets rid of the excuse of like, oh, like I don't have time, or they don't have time, and I can't get on a FaceTime call. And I like it more than text because you're getting so much more. You're getting the facial expression, you're getting the voice, you're getting as much in like real person interaction as you can asynchronously. So that's the second thing. Make time at least 3 times a week to connect with friends or family. And the third thing you can do to fight teacher burnout during distance learning is move your body. Teaching is often a very mobile activity. You're up, you're moving, you're interacting with kids. A lot of teachers I know barely sit down during the day. And so to be in front of a computer all day, particularly if you don't have like any kind of standing desk situation, your body's not used to that and your body's not designed for that. So again, when you're starting a new habit, don't just say, all right, now I'm gonna run a mile every day now and to get some movement, because that's not a realistic goal. That's not how routines and habits are formed. Instead, start small. You can even incorporate this into your Zoom classes with your students, where you set a timer for 20 or 25 minutes or wherever the halfway point of your class is. When that timer goes off, you say, all right, everybody stand up. All right, we're gonna move, we're gonna stretch our arms, we're gonna stretch our shoulders, go down and touch your toes, and everyone do 10 jumping jacks. Okay, all right, got some blood moving. Okay, sit back down. And even if your kids are not turning their cameras off, you can have fun with it. Even if you're the only one that's doing it and all your kids' cameras off, they're getting the benefit because you're moving and you're getting your energy up a little bit for them. You'd be like, I know your camera's off, but I know you're doing them push-ups out there. In my class, I actually have this a student job, where a student is reminded at the beginning of class, hey, set a timer for 20 minutes and let me know when your timer goes off, and then I have them lead the movement session for that class period. So start incorporating movement into your class. Another thing you can do is see if you can create this standing desk situation. You don't need a fancy desk that has a motor and goes up and down. You can put your laptop on several boxes on the dining room table, and you now have your standing desk. Plus, putting it on several boxes puts the camera at eye level, which is even more flattering than whenever you have the laptop in your lap and it's looking up and you're showing off your best double chin by looking down at the computer all day like that. And of course, actually just getting out and getting exercise is gonna be the best thing for you. Again, you're not shooting to do something that's gonna take an hour every day when you haven't been doing any kind of movement or exercise at all for the last few months. Start small. Start with a 20-minute walk 5 times a week. I do say 5 because I think it should happen more frequently, but if it's a small little goal of 20 minutes, that's something that's a little bit more achievable. Use this time to listen to podcasts, or if you don't like podcasts, listen to music. Or if you're struggling to find time to just catch up with people, that's when you can call people, that's when you can text people, that's when you can send your Marco Polos. Most people have time for 20 minutes of movement, of walking, of exercise, particularly now because you are setting work hours and you're You're not working till 11:30. So in that extra time that you are creating for yourself to fight teacher burnout, get some movement, get outside, even if it's just 20 minutes a day. So to recap, 1, stop working. 2, call or text at least 3 people a week. I like Marco Polo for that. And 3, get some movement. Movement with your students, movement individually. Start moving. In the movement, I talked about how one of my students actually has that job as what I call the athletic trainer. Down in the description, I'm gonna actually link to a list of 10 of the classroom jobs that I have, 10 unique jobs that actually tap into my students' interests, and just makes class a lot more fun for the students and for me, and frees up a little bit of time when some of the students are doing those tasks and I'm not the one that's setting the reminder and leading the athletic training and things like that. So you can get that list. It's a free list of 10 of my favorite classroom jobs, linked down below. That being said, my name is Thom Gibson. I hope you learned something today that will help you create more meaningful and memorable experiences for your students, because you're not gonna be as burnt out as you feel right now. Subscribe if you wanna stay in the loop with any upcoming videos, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.